Hello, everyone. Hello, Patrick. How are you? Everyone doing okay? Hello, Walter. Dan, how are you? I just want to remind everybody, this is the last trading day of the week. Brooks, how are you? Tim? Yeah. So don't try and make your week on the last trading day of the week. I believe in that. Okay, so don't try and press today for something that didn't happen yesterday. Should do that every day, but especially in this environment, 3-day weekend, elevated geo risk. You know, North Koreans could test their nuke. Who knows what could happen? So the overnight risk is definitely, okay, good point, Patrick. So risks are elevated overnight, let alone a 3-day weekend. So I'm a big believer in being prudent over valor. Prudence over valor. Don't be a hero. Okay, everyone, don't try and be a hero today. So I just want to review the Canadian trade here. You had to be pretty patient to wait for my targets that I talked about at 32. So really, this started last week on the back tests. So it's pretty accurate on calling after this happened to wait for rally back to the line, which occurred. And then I believe Stelios was talking midweek. We were having a little discussion. He was talking about silver, and I had to interrupt him because we were sitting right here on the cliff. And I said, looks like we're going to have a breakdown. We did break down. We rolled over. Never really violated old support, became new resistance. And then we had the news day yesterday, Canada numbers yesterday. And I said, I just want to review this. I don't know how many people keep a trading log or trading diary. I said, anytime the news goes your way, use it as an opportunity to cover. Like Blake says, he's always looking for liquidity to take the other side of his trade. Okay, so this news event created a lot of sellers coming in for you to cover your short. And this line was my target. This is my philosophy. So say my target's 32, and we're at 32.29 going into a long weekend. Anyone want to guess what I would recommend doing here? Based upon the philosophies that I've shared with you so far? What would I do short Canada here? There you go. The market will be here Monday. Add the shorts. That's what you would do, Dan. I know you. Well, you know what? It could end up being the right thing to do. Okay. Is Luca or Armand here? Are either of you here? Say hello to me if you are. There's Luca. Luca, I want to congratulate you on your great call of what was going to happen to interest rates. If everyone followed, and Armand's here too, and I want to congratulate Armand for his long cable call. They were both great calls. So I'm going to make you guys, I'm going to make you FX Live. How are you? Still short? Okay. Do we know each other, FX Live? Hi, Zig. Well, Armand made a call. Do you guys still have those charts? Yeah, Hardianto. Ask him if he's still short. He's taken some in. Right, Hardianto, on Canada? There you go. Hardianto knows this. It's a Bernard Baruch saying. Yeah, there you go. You never go broke taking profits, Samir. You ever hear that one? They interviewed him. He managed the Kennedys' money and Rockefeller's money, Bernard Baruch, and they said, "What's the one thing for your success?" And he says, "I always sell too soon, and you never go broke taking profits." So, we like to stay on runners, but it is true. If you're always taking profits, you're not going to have much of a drawdown, are you? Okay, well, Luca, if you have that Bund chart updated, and was that it? Late to the party and first to leave. Good one, Bill. I never heard that before. So if you guys have your screenshots from when you made the call, I'd like to award both of you guys the Share the Man Award. Everyone congratulate Luca for calling the interest rate move in Bunds, and also happened here in the TLT. And then we had this nice pop this week on the long side of pound, and Armand was there. Armand, you still long the pound? Okay. That's all right. I remember it. So I have a memory of it. So you guys win the Man Award, which is now called the Face Award. Congratulations. To happen again. I'll help you move that trophy. Okay. Also, a couple of other things I want to touch on. All week I was saying I thought there would be, when Blake was buying the euro down here, 590 was one of his entries. He was along a few times down here. We had what was called a throw over. And then I showed that the euro came back with inside the throw over. And then we have a Donald Trump move up here. I don't like the reading down here. It tells me eventually we'll get a new low on the 4 hour. 23 was the reading there. Then we had a little divergence, but it was still under 30. But I still think that we could get more of a retracement here. And that brings me to EG, because Blake showed the massive head and shoulders formation. He was lamenting a little bit about
Dale,
not being...
Good morning, my friend. Sorry for interrupting. We can't see your screen at the moment.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve.
My pleasure.
Can you see my screen now, guys? Waiting for
Yes.
it. There it is. All right, so here was a throw over, right? And I don't believe it's a reversal week. Let me look at it here. But I think there's more left. I think what happened yesterday, whether it's the beginning of a trend or a correction, either way, I think my bias is lower in the dollar. So I want to look at the weekly. So we are up on the week. The 2-week close reversal would be 106.56. So we're right there on the verge of a 2-week reversal. And what I wanted to talk about was EG, because Blake showed a beautiful chart yesterday in EG, this head and shoulders formation here. And, breaking down under 84 is going to be pretty ugly. It's not under 84.88. So it's right at the 2-week off number. But shorter term, I would have a hard time being short here. In fact, I have some divergence here. I'm not sure if it's going to happen from here or not, but I'm looking for a pretty good rally. I think even Hardianto showed a nice look on that. Okay, the potential. So, Blake, I think you're going to have a chance, and Face and ForexAnalytix, people are going to have a chance to short it. If you want to look to play the counter trend, you're the captain of your own ship, just as I am. but it wouldn't surprise me to get a decent rally out of euro pound during this phase of dollar weakness back towards 86, 86.20, and that's going to be your long-term shorting area. All right, so there's some agreement in the community. Let's see, after yesterday's action, what FA is saying about those pairs, the euro. We have an Elliott wave here. Let's see if it lines up with what I've been saying. So this is how I use FA. I can draw my own conclusions in the market by what I see. And then what I like to do is this is how I collaborate with my whole team when they're not with me on Skype, or they might be sleeping or late to be at his son's baseball game, right? So we had an update here 4 hours ago. It was an Elliott update. It's frozen on me. Here we go. Okay. So this is a 4 hour by Grega. So he thinks we've already 106.95. That's about all he's looking for. I was thinking maybe 740, 780, you know, but he's only looking for a very shallow ABC here for 2 and then a big 3 down. So that might give me pause about buying the euro here. You see how I use it? Because, you know, I respect Rega and all the guys on the team, Blake's work. So it gives me pause. The chicken way for me to trade the long side of euro would be to look for a bounce in EG. Okay, less beta. And it could also mean that the pound corrects, goes down more than the euro. So that's the Elliott work. Key support, bull bear lines 103.30. Okay. Let's see what the look is on euro pound. And what I like about what I really like about what they do (5 hours ago, Elliott wave). Okay, interesting. So my intuition was saying that I would prefer to trade it this way. So it looks like Greg is looking for a low here. And how about this? Look at the B wave. So you guys see how I use it? So between the two trades of getting long euro and getting long EG, looking for a spot, my instincts told me, because I'm a chicken and I'd rather, you know, just trade the EG instead of trying to bottom pick euro, because I think there's going to be a better entry, is that's a better counter trend trade. So this is what I call intelligence gathering. So there are different sources for intelligence gathering in our community. There's from each other, there's from me, and there's from the FA team, Blake, Nick, Rega, Steve, and Stelios for his telescopic macro. So you really don't have to go to too many other sources to stay in tune with the market, is my view. All right, so did anyone see the tweet that I was going to teach the cursor technique? Some of the people that know me. Also, we have a great interview with Miad Kazravi. Okay, Miad's really into psychology. All right, Tamir knows the cursor technique. Anyone else in here know the cursor technique? Yeah, I think Hardianto knows it. Yeah, not cursing. Oh, thank you, Dan. Hardianto knows it. Okay, so everyone pull up their Euro pound chart. Everyone pull up their Euro pound chart. I have it on the 4 hour here. And you see this divergence here, right? Is everyone there? Yeah. Then you put your cursor over the current candle like this, like so. And by the way, I'm selling this course for $999.99. But this is a gift to you. So you put your cursor over the candle, and like we want it to go up from now, even though, you know, maybe I have a toe in the water here like Hardianto. I wouldn't mind if it popped to build the case. And then you go 1, 2, 3, go up. 1, 2, 3, go up. Sometimes it works better on a shorter term time frame. Let's see if we could get it to go on the 15-minute. We needed to get through this green line. 1, 2, 3, go up. Some people have tried magnets. All right, so I know some people that have tried. Yeah, you see that? W pattern. So if we get through this moving average, 84.95. This is, I'm very keen. This is what I'm stalking. Hardianto also had a nice chart on it. So let's see the award-winning charts, the Man Award-winning charts. Here's Luca. Luca was looking for something in the Bunds. It's not at your level yet, is it? Great call, Luca. So let me ask you something, Luca. When you saw this happening, oh, this is a Swiss. Okay. Anyway, you're starting to turn negative the Swiss here, which would be positive for Euro. I thought this was a Bund chart. I have a question for you, Luca. I have a question for you. Since your wave count showed this rally that was going to take place to give you a nice shorting area, were you tempted to be long into the zone that you want for your ideal short? Because I used to do this all the time. I still do it sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, you know, you really shouldn't do it, because just because you want to sell something or buy something in a certain area, we all say to ourselves, well, if I think it's going to rally to there for me to short it, why don't I just ride it up? Have you ever heard yourself say that? Or you want to buy something lower, you go, well, I may as well make money on the way down to where I'm going to get long. But that's not the trade. Give me a capiche if you get it. That's not the trade. But I do like this counter trend trade now that I've seen Greg's wave count. Thank you, Luca. So we'll just keep it here. So I'm not a big portfolio trader. I'm rarely in more than a couple of things at a time. I kind of jump around. Here was Luca's Bund call. Hey Steve, see how I could copy charts and get them done faster now, man? 2 weeks, Steve. I've had a good time the last couple of weeks hanging out with you guys. So, okay, we haven't gotten to a sell zone yet. Maybe in the next maybe the next week or so if risk continues to come off. So that was Luca's chart. He would start talking about it after this big break. He knew there'd be a rally to sell into. Thank you, Luca. That's a bund. That was a nice euro yen. Euro yen and euro are keeping it under pressure. Oh, a palladium chart by FX Live. I haven't looked at palladium in a while. Oh, it's not letting me do it. It's a pretty thin market, isn't it? Oh, here it is. I believe palladium from my days as a commodity guy. When it really got hyped, it got hyped up because of cold fusion being an energy source, and they used palladium. We all know they use platinum. They use platinum for catalytic converters. Yeah, that's an interesting looking wedge. I'd be interested to see the RSI look on it. But grinding, rising wedge, maybe back to 600, huh? Thank you, FX Live. Okay. Everyone doing all right? So let's take a look at the metals and then see what FA is saying. We marginally made a new high in silver, okay, marginally. I still can't, gold looks much better to me than silver. We're still diverging here.
Hey, Dale.
See this? Hey, Blake, how are you, partner?
What's going on?
TGIT.
TGIT, huh? Yes, my kids are especially excited about this extra long weekend because they've got 4 days off. You know, they've got Friday and Monday. Apparently, they celebrate Easter Monday with the rest of Europe. I have no idea why, but anyway.
Lots of Europeans in Arizona, Blake.
I guess there are. Hey, when you come back from your first break, I want to revisit these pound pairs because I've been riding them, you know, for the last, I don't know, week and a half or so, but we might have got a false breakout in the pound New Zealand overnight. Well, yesterday, because right after that Trump comment about the dollar and shot bonds up and everything. Anyway, yeah. I want to talk about that when we get back, all right?
Okay, and you know what? I wanted to tweet because, you know, what you said yesterday, you know, every once in a while people say things that are really pearls. And when you talk about how difficult it is, even for you, to ride a 400 pip winner and not even be thinking about booking it, but adding on, if you get the signal, to me that's a trading pearl. The toughest thing is to add on to a 400 pip winner, quote unquote, Lake Morrow.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
It's tough. I mean, especially when you trade some of these crosses like the pound against like the Kiwi or the Aussie or the Euro, yeah. Aussie, Kiwi. Those kind of pairs. I mean, in the past, I've had 1,200, 1,500 pip moves that I've capitalized on. They're not easy, and it doesn't take, it's not a overnight sensation type of thing. It's a long drawn out process, and it's really, you have to manage it. And this is an area which we can talk about in a little bit. These are areas that I could realistically add to if I see the right signal today. So
yeah, you go through the emotional roller coaster riding to target or increasing your target, because you're going to have days where you're going to be giving it back.
Oh yeah, I mean today's
that's a tough part.
Yeah, it is, and today's a prime example. I've given back some of my gains over the last couple of weeks, and the natural response is, all right, let's close them out and get out of them. But it's like, this is if I was going to be entering right now, this would be the place I would be entering. So that's. But anyway, we'll chat about that after the break. I'll let you finish your thoughts here. I just wanted to.
Okay. There, I'm finished, and why don't we get my break out of the way, and you guys don't mind if I run a commercial, do you? So if you're an FX trader on the go, this will help you with your show right here. And then I'll be back. Okay. So, Blake, whenever you're ready, my friend.
All right, Dale. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. Let me go ahead and let me go ahead and grab the screen really fast from you. So these are the times where this is the time where you're looking at a pair like this, and this is a difficult situation because like I said, I've been riding the pound New Zealand. Like this is one in particular that I've got on my screen because it's really close to make it or break it for me. I've been buying this thing since like the mid 170s right here, like 175. My cost average is somewhere around here. We're trading around 179. We've pulled back to 618. We pulled back to this trend line, but what gets me about this particular chart is that we had this false breakout right here. This is yesterday. Late yesterday, we were rallying. Everything was great. Donald Trump announced that China's not a currency manipulator. The dollar's too strong. Bonds ripped, and when bonds rally, yields fall. That's typically more bullish for it's going to be bearish for the dollar, but it's really going to be it's going to hit the dollar more or against emerging market currencies. Or the emerging market currencies are going to, benefit a little bit more.
They cleaned out the last standing bear too, Blake, over these highs. They hadn't taken them out until that happened yesterday.
Yeah. This is a situation where the commodity currencies are going to strengthen. Gold, you can see, is very strong. Commodities in general are going to lift, and as inflationary pressures start to rise. So that was marked the reversal of the pound New Zealand. So this does concern me. This is very concerning to me, especially on a longer term view, and that's why I'm like, this is a very tough. Today is a very tough decision. It's do I pull it off the table or do I add here? Now, some of you might be looking at this trend line and say, well, I'm just going to add here because it's the 618. Yeah, it makes sense, but I haven't seen any technical reason to be, adding at this point. If I saw some, really strong, maybe like a 4-hour candle or the dailies.
You want a reversal from that level, right, Blake?
Yeah, the daily maybe posted a pin bar where you see a long wick, by the end of the day, then I might consider it. So this is why I have to sit here and go, okay, well, I'm not going to add yet, because I'm more in the camp of, do I pull the plug on this trade after being in it for the last couple of weeks? And same goes like for the pound Aussie. You can see the pound Aussie. Now this is you can see this is the wedge breakout. We broke out yesterday, reversed everything, so we came back down. Again, this is the question, do I add or do I take it off the table? And I'm I would say I'm within, you know, a 50 pip range of making that decision at this point. Pound Canadian, very similar type of situation. It hasn't rallied like I, you know, hoped it would coming out of this wedge at this point. You know, and I'm looking at it something like this, you know. All right, do I hang out in this trade, or do I pull the plug? So they're all very pivotal areas, and I haven't made the decision. But you know, again, I've been long these for the last, you know, couple of weeks, and these are the hard decisions that have to be made. And frankly, right now I'm just sitting on my hands, you know, wondering what I'm going to do. And I think a lot of this will have to do with, you know, probably what happens in gold, what happens in equities today. You know, it is at the end of the week. We have a long weekend. You know, what's position squaring going to be like going into the European close? These are all questions that are being asked right now, and frankly, I'm letting the market make the decision for me. But you know, if you take like a, you know, like the pound Aussie, for example, this is like, you know, the last couple of years, these have been some of my favorite currencies to trade. These moves here are just massive moves, you know, massive longs and shorts that can really you can capitalize on them, but they're not easy. You know, they look like, oh my God, this thing's gone straight up, or this thing's gone straight down, you know, post Brexit or whatever. And which is true, but you have these swings in between. These are 200 pip swings that it really
every day. What's the average ATR on that this pip?
I would say like the pound Aussie and the pound New Zealand's probably close to 150 pips a day versus the euro being maybe 70 or 80. So
yeah, that's a lot of noise for people to handle.
It is, and so it's not. It makes decision time, like, you know, days like today, very difficult, where you go, okay, you know, what do I do? It can really rattle, you know, an average trader, and that's why I think it's you know, equally important it's equally important to understand that they have such wide trading ranges that you have to keep, you know, your position size at a level where you can deal with these types of swings. And if you're not, and you have, you know, too big of a position, they could easily whip you in and out. So you always have to trade appropriately. You know, you
know what my expression is on trend lines, Blake? Their destiny is to be broken. Eventually.
Eventually, yes, but they also are respected a lot. So that's why you have to respect them as they're there. But right. But yeah, they're matter of fact, the cable's coming under some pressure right now as we speak. You can see the pound starting to see some pressure as we come into new lows in the session. So anyway, those are just some ideas that and things that I'm dealing with right now personally, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So I wanted to talk about that as a follow-up to what I was talking about yesterday. The dollar is seeing a little bit of pressure. Gold's coming down too. Silver's coming down as well. So and looks like stocks are getting a little bit of a lift here. So anyway, just a little heads up, and I'm more in managing trades right now, trying to, you know, I'm sitting in some gold. I've been in gold since the last 2 days. Gold's just come off a couple bucks here, but you can see gold's had a really nice rally, and I've been playing this to the long side and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with gold. I still think gold's you know, marching right up against some really key resistance here. You can see this massive trend line, which you know, it makes sense to be short here. I just don't know if, you know, with everything that's happening around the globe, if that's necessarily the right decision at this point. So
yeah, there'll be a nuclear test this weekend celebrating holidays in North Korea. It's not Easter or Passover. It's I believe the birthday of his father or grandfather. So
Is that what it is in North Korea?
yeah.
Yes. We might see some activity. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the Europeans wrap up their week, since for the long weekend, and I'm just kind of standing aside. I'm just standing aside trying to manage everything that I've got here and figure out what I want to carry and what I don't.
And Friday and Monday will be light with the holiday here and then the holiday in Europe.
Yes. It should be very light trading, even though I'm going to be in front of the computer tomorrow morning as we're releasing inflation data here for the U.S. Most traders are going to be out due to, equity markets being closed and whatnot. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on my radar that I'm paying really close attention to at this point. Not really, actually. I'd like to say that there's a lot on my screen, but there's not. I'm not really interested in doing a whole lot.
Nice cover on your S&P active formation yesterday.
Oh, no, that was Grega.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah, that's Grega. This S&P, this one's still running. The U.S. dollar Mexican peso did get taken out. It went through the wedge support that was obviously Donald Trump instigated. That's what pushed us below that support, which is unfortunate because this is one of those things where the U.S. dollar Mexican peso may have just hit a new low and might rally right back into that range. As a lot of these.
It's not confirming. It's not confirming on your RSI.
No, it isn't. It's divergent right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna push it on back to you, Dale. But I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Have a great long weekend. You are not going to be broadcasting tomorrow. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right. Good. Just make sure everybody knows that. And have a wonderful Easter weekend for those of you that are out there celebrating.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dale.
Thank you, Blake. You too, buddy.
Thanks, everybody.
And the whole team, their families. Speaking of it, we could all have resurrections in our own lives too. If you're not a believer, you could believe that your trading career could be resurrected. I know that I've experienced a few. In fact, people nickname me Lazarus at some time. So, maybe it could heal a broken relationship, bring new life to that. So there are a lot of things that really aren't done unless you quit and give up. And I know that everyone in here is pretty much a fighter, or they wouldn't even really be attempting this. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to speaking to Miad. He's going to be here pretty soon. I bet he's in the house already. So here's a divergence I pointed out in silver. Silver had a much weaker RSI pattern here. I think with what's happening in the world right now, probably the toughest trade is to be short the metals. Sometimes the hardest trades are the right trades, but definitely another non-confirmation there. While gold, much stronger pattern. See how we're confirming these highs in gold? To me, that's a market tell. That's a market message. So between the two, the silver barely was able to make a new high. And gold keeps stretching, right? So we made a new high by a dime. Big deal. And look at this RSI reading compared to gold. So my preferred short, if you like to hear the ice crack, would be the silver. Let's see what's going on the precious metal front here at FA before I bring on Miad. Trying to use your wheel, Steve, forget it. There we go. So long term, up. You can't get much more bullish than this unless it's vertical. As you can see in the silver, short term it's up. Short term it's up, and long term it's sideways. Did everyone see that? So silver is also the preferred short if you want to trade counter trend. Let's see how much higher Greg is looking for it to go. All right, so Greg allows for this to happen here, right? Okay. Pull back to 1775. So my divergence work kind of lines up with Greg there. Everyone see it? Well, that's why, yeah, palladium's your preferred short. That's right. So this lines up with what I was saying in silver, right? Greg has looking for an ABC here. It's beginning. I hope at least by me showing this, if you were long, you went to the door. Maybe you probed the short here. That'd be nice. I'm not going to click the mouse for you. Just going to provide what I see. And then it's up to you to do whatever you want to do. Silver pulling back. Miad's going to be with us in about 10 minutes. Still think the setup for next week is going to be a counter trend trade in Euro Pound. And let's see how the campaign trade is going. I believe Aussie is outperforming the Kiwi. Therefore, Aussie Kiwi having a decent day. It's given up some gains here. But a decent week. Nice candle here yesterday. Hasn't given it up. Still, remember our line in the sand, our close is under 730-ish. For this to be a continuation trade. But from, you know, this mid 107 level, it's not bad. I'd let it ride. Give it a chance. One thing about breakouts, I do not like breakouts that give people a month. Give people a month to decide whether or not they're going to commit to the market. Okay, I'm going to take one more break here. And then I'm going to start my interview with Miad. Looking forward to talking psychology. I love his tagline. His tagline is, you don't change your habits by changing your trading system. You do it by changing yourself. So this should be a great discussion on thank you, Blake, with your hypnotic voice. Miad, are you in the house? Searching for you. I know it's about 7 minutes away. Dixie having a respectable week. Trying anyway. We'll see. This could be distribution. Some people would say it's a flag here. There's your weekly. We're still lower on the week. But you see how it held the 2-week off number was par 56. It's above it. You know, it's right at it, par 51. posted yesterday, Jess? Let's see what you got. Yeah, that was one of the better crosses. Congratulations. You should have won the FACE award. Jess is a testimonial for how supply demand traders work. I've watched Jess's work for years. So he showed this yesterday. Looking for 79. That'd get a pretty real nice. Jess taught me to look left for supply demand zones. So this would be just a correction from here. So Aussie yen, Kiwi yen is risky, but nice call, beautiful look. 79 target. Okay. Still waiting to see if Miata has entered the room. It's due in 5 minutes. Yes, are you here? Oh, yes. Yes, Steve.
Hey, mate. By the way, since our friend here is setting a Kiwi yen chart, if your guest is not here yet, I can go ahead and share a few JPY, a few yen charts that I was actually looking for some potential reversals.
Okay, that'd be great. I think you have 4 or 5 minutes. He's not here yet, so you would need me to hand it over to you?
Yeah, if you could please, because I'm on vacation in my book, so okay. I'd rather you make me presenter.
Okay, you are a presenter now.
Yeah.
Okay, there's CAD yen.
Okay, good. Okay, 3 pairs I was just looking at. First of all, this is Aussie yen, because as I said, I'm going to talk about pairs. Okay, so Aussie yen is very interesting, having to do with the way it respected technicals. Just look at it. I know this is a very long-term view of the daily, but just look at it. We had an ascending channel. We had an overthrow of it. We topped near the end of 2014, and then we had a massive descending channel that actually, from which we actually broke exactly 2 years after we entered it. This move higher looks to be impulsive. As you see, we created a base triangle here, we broke above it. Mm-hmm. But then we created this kind of a wedge from which we broke below. But if we zoom into what happened actually today and yesterday, as you see, the fall through the wedge also has a forward descending wedge. And actually, if we close below somewhere like 82.60 roughly, we are also going to create a morning star formation having to do with candlesticks. So a breakout of this wedge and the close above roughly where we are, puts a very serious doubt of if this move lower is going to resume. Perhaps that was it. Plus, keep in mind that we found the low exactly at the 200.
When I was short, Steve, that was the target was 82 based upon a count. So
yeah, that was perfectly.
It looks completed. Yeah.
And if you notice here, this is also we just briefly broke below it. This is also 82,154 was also the 38.2 of the range from the low that we registered in June to the high that we registered in February. So a confluence of supports there, plus what we see here in the candlesticks, because we follow candlesticks among other things because candlesticks are the shorter term signals. So when you have other confluence of basic technical analysis and harmonics and Elliott waves, etc., and you combine that with, you know, some kind of candlestick formation, this is a good trigger to tell you that yes, what you're looking is probably valid, and now you have a specific signal. So that's why I wanted to go through Aussie yen, because it's very interesting setup. And as you very well know, that, I mean, trying to catch reversals obviously is not a high probability game, but when you can define your risk reward very well, so you can risk, let's say, 1 and aim for 4, even if you get it right 30-40% of the times, you can still be very profitable, right?
Yeah, now I know why you drive a Ferrari. Okay. You have a great eye, Steve.
You know, it's not Ferrari.
Very good eye. So, okay. You know, a couple of things came together there. Go ahead.
Yes, and the Kiwi yen here, just look at it. We had a similar setup. We had a prolonged triangle. This triangle actually started, you know, from the beginning of last year. We actually managed to break out of it on October, early November.
Yeah, the Kiwi yen led the way down. It led the way down. It broke down prior to Aussie yen. So will you extrapolate that it should lead the way up or be weaker?
Not necessarily, because if Blake shared with us yesterday his Aussie Kiwi perspective, and I totally agree with him. Currently, Aussie Kiwi seems to be well bid, and that should probably, as long as that's the case, should probably let Aussie have the initiative in such a kind of move. And look at it here, actually.
Great point.
We had a double top, and then the move lower happened respecting this specific channel. If you see, we can see that Kiwi was weaker because oppositely from Aussie, we actually broke below the 200 DMA here, but we found support on the channel bottom, and as it seems below the 50% fib, and as it seems we're forming a very strong candle today. But Kiwi yen has more room to cover before we can more easily say that, you know, this looks like a good buy. Because, for example, what I would like to see for the specific pair is a bridge below this descending channel resistance, which also more or less, as you see, coincides with the 200 DMA. So roughly 77.50, a close above it, is going to be a good indication that this is heading higher as well. And keep in mind, serious level afterwards comes at 80.50, which means that we have a lot of room to cover on the upside if indeed this is a low we're going to find here, okay?
Great analysis.
And the last one, which is CAD yen, just look at it. One of the most massive channels you've seen. We topped here at the end of 2014. We respected the channel, we broke above it, and then we started playing a game which was, you know, like a corrective, a slow drip lower, respecting mostly the channel. But we're now, you know, we're now testing the line. We've broken a little bit below it, and we're currently riding the 200 DMA. So this is not also as clear as the Aussie yen, but I'm having a look at it because it seems to be trying to form a base somewhere on the broken channel at the 200 DMA. So it's too early to pull the trigger here, but I'm also monitoring this. Those were the three pairs I wanted to share until you got your guest coming over.
Thank you, Steve.
It was my pleasure, mate. You can go ahead and take the screen from me.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Looking forward to your interview. Thank you.
I'm searching for him in the room. I don't have me out here yet. Short squeeze, FX Live, okay. That's why it was close enough for government work. You understand that expression now in Canada? So if I have the 32 target and we're at 32.20. To me, it wasn't worth the risk. Right? I've seen people risk to make another 30 pips 100. So we're getting a little bit of a turn here. Still could work lower. It's not enough for me to want to get long. Still looking for me out here. Once in a while there are cross-ups with interviews. Are you in the house, Miad? Sorry, Steve, I think I bumped you.
No problem, mate. I'm back.
Okay, buddy. So I guess I could go hunt for him on Twitter. Monday, Adam Button of Forex Live will join us. I have a pretty good lineup for us next week. Also going to be bringing in Peter Temple. Peter knows everything about everything. I mean, he goes to New York to read manuscripts of Dewey and all these guys. You'll find Peter very fascinating. He's also an Eliotician. I may have Mark Haberman with us. We'll see. And then I also have a harmonic guy with us next week. Okay, I'm going to go to Twitter and see if I could raise them. Nick will co-host on Monday. Okay, that'll be great. Let me find the So I found a lot of great people on Twitter. So I met Blake. Not in the States. Those of you that want to follow me, it's at Forex Stop Hunter.
In the meantime, equity markets are rallying pretty stoutly at this moment, and gold and silver has come off. The dollar is just kind of firming up a little bit, but not too much. Trying to just look around to see if there's anything really. Oil's pushing higher with risk appetite.
Right.
Seems like a lot of the moves that we saw yesterday just unwinding a bit. So
yeah, but you know, wouldn't you think some book squaring today, Blake, in front of a 3 to 4 day weekend, basically until all the adults come back?
Yeah, I mean, yes, and again, I'm more curious to see how we do it by the end of the day. What happens?
So this interview didn't work out. I have a great lineup next week, guys. I'm going to call it a week. Really enjoyed working with you and Blake and Steve and Grega and Nicole and Stelios. It's my hope that what you're experiencing here is adding value to what you're trying to accomplish as a trader. It's our mission here at FA to build up and edify traders every day. So have a great weekend. Be back with you on Monday. Thank you very much, Alex. Have some very nice interviews for you next week. A few of them are going to blow your mind. I'm going to bring in a guy who says we're not in global warming. We're headed towards a mini ice age. Thank you, Clayton. Blake, thank you. Steve, thank you. Grega, Nicole, everyone. Have a happy Easter. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to smell the roses. Go out and live life. And I guarantee you the markets will be here when we're back together on Monday. I'm glad you had a great week, Mauro. It was nice meeting you. One of the great things of coming here and working with ForexAnalytix is I'm meeting new people. Bill Henderson, nice to meet you too. Patricia, nice to meet you. Gary Coyne. And that's it. It's a wrap. See you, Kevin. And above all, remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. I'm sure each and every one of you have a few that you could focus your mind on and be grateful for. They say gratefulness is the only thing that permanently moves your happiness meter off your default setting. So happy to be working with you guys, grateful to be part of a great team. See everyone Monday. See you, Luca. Thank you, buddy.